Hello, everybody. How's it going?
What's
Welcome.
up?
Welcome to the second podcast. How's everybody doing? How are we? How are the volumes? With
Hello,
me
hello.
today is Mr. Baptiste Vigier from Betraying the Martyrs. How are you doing, my dude?
Very good. Long time no see. It's good to see
Yes,
you, man.
it's good to see you indeed, and as well. And today I will be asking you a lot of questions about touring. Like, you've been touring a lot back in the days before all the crazy stuff started to happen. But we're
Yeah, back in the
yeah.
good old days.
Yeah, but we're gonna start with the first and most important question. Do you remember your
hmm
first gig experience? The first gig you went to? When was it? How old were
Uh,
you?
the first gig I went to, okay. I think it was whether Korn or Linkin Park. The both of these shows were in Bercy, like the biggest venue in Paris, like 15,000, I think it was back in the day. Nowadays, I think that
Mhm.
Korn couldn't play that type of venues. But I think it was that. I was maybe 14 years old, I think. It was my first big gig experience, yeah, for sure.
So did it like inspire you even more to become a musician?
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. My dream is to play this venue one day. I hope we'll be able to
You still
manage it
haven't.
somehow. No, we never played there. It's really massive. Like it's a big arena. That's where the
Uh-huh.
big pop artists are playing nowadays. So, but it's actually pretty close from my old house
Hmm.
in Paris. So I pass by it every time I drove there, and it's a good venue. It's really
Okay.
sick. Yeah,
Yeah.
it definitely inspired me to play some shows. It was like a full ass experience, with crazy lights going on. It was amazing. I've never felt that before. Obviously, it was my first time, but I still remember it to this day.
Well, I suppose you've
It
seen
was
many gigs there since then in that
yeah,
venue.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, they do like sports events. They do everything. They do
Ah,
League
okay.
of Legends and esports as well. They have a lot of things going on.
I think we have the
I
similar
remember.
venue in
Yeah,
here.
probably.
It's like
There's one or two
10,000.
in every big cities. Yeah, for sure.
Oh,
Yeah.
Jerome seen Lincoln Park and Bercy twice. Nice.
Wow. Yeah. Nice. Nice.
Yeah, we actually have quite a few French people here in the house as well.
Bonjour, bonjour.
Okay, so like I know that Betraying the Martyrs were founded in 2008, right?
Yep, that's right.
But you and Mr. D'Angelo were in another medical band called Black Curtains before that.
Yeah, that's true.
So I suppose, like, did you tour with Black Curtains, or like, was it your first ever gig with them that you've played?
Yep. We did tour with the Curtains. So it was our very first band.
Hmm.
I decided with Lucas to create it when we were the same age, like I would say 14 or 15 years old.
Hmm.
And we were listening to a lot of metal, a lot of new metal and stuff. And we told ourselves, why not create a band together? So we asked the big tough guy in our classroom to play the bass player, obviously, and that's how it went. The first time we practiced with Black Curtains was actually the first time that I held a guitar in my hands,
Oh,
so it
really?
was really shit. Yeah, it was horrible, but we had a lot of fun, so we decided to keep on going with this. And actually, we managed to record, I think it was 2 or 3 EPs, and it allowed us to go to the studio for the first time. It was
Hmm.
a very good first experience. We did a few tours here and there, mostly in France,
Hmm.
but we played maybe 50 shows. So that's not too bad, I would
That's
say.
pretty decent. When was
Yeah,
Black Curtains founded? In which year? How many years
like
before BTM?
maybe 5 or 6 years before
Okay,
that.
well, so pretty
Yeah.
much you had a pretty decent experience before BTM already.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And do you remember your first shows with BTM? When were they?
My first show ever with BTM was in Lyon,
Hmm.
in the south of France, in a small venue, but it was with As They Burn. I don't know, another French band if you know them.
It actually sounds
It was with
familiar.
some, yeah, then they got pretty big at some point, but Yeah, that was the first like local show we've done. But a few weeks after, I remember we played Paris for the first time,
Mhm.
and it was on a boat, a small boat, like maybe 300 cap venue, and we played with Despised Icon and
Oh,
Whitechapel.
oh,
So that was pretty sick.
yeah, I
Good,
can
good
imagine.
lineup, yeah.
So I suppose
Good, good
it was a
memories.
sold out show.
I believe it was, yeah, but it
Pretty
was a
cool.
pretty small venue, but it was
Oh,
packed, yeah. And
300.
when this venue is packed, you can actually feel the boat like moving when there's like wall of death and shit. That's pretty intense.
That's probably a pretty intense experience indeed.
Yeah,
So
you,
you,
you
Mhm.
can feel the ground shaking when you're on the stage. It's really weird, a weird feeling, but it's nice.
Yeah. So you've played a lot of festivals with BTM as well. Which is the most
Yeah.
memorable festival you've played?
Um, I would say, well, as a French musician, I would probably have to say Hellfest. It's a really good one.
Okay,
But
international
usually,
festival.
okay, I don't know. Maybe Grass Pop was pretty cool. Wistful Force. Honestly, there's a lot of cool ones out there. I played the download when the edition was happening in Paris.
Mhm.
So that was pretty cool. And my parents and my sister came, so it's always like special to play with your family and
Oh
stuff
yeah.
in front of your friends. But yeah, I love all festivals. It's pretty fun.
Okay, so you probably see like you've shared the stage with a lot of big bands on those
Oh yeah,
festivals.
yeah.
Do you have any like memory, very fun memory, like encountering any like big musician that you were looking up to when you were a kid on those
Um,
festivals?
well, we had the chance to tour with Slipknot during Mayhem Festival. So
Mhm.
we cross path with Corey Taylor every day. I was actually really surprised that he's very humble and very nice guy. He was like saying hello to everybody, including us. Like even if we didn't know each other, during the breakfast every morning, like he says hi to everybody. I thought that was really nice. We got lucky enough to see the guys from Slayer, the guys from Motorhead. That's no longer possible, so that's
Mhm.
always something special for any metalhead.
Yeah, that's for
And
sure.
that was really cool. Yeah, it was a nice fest in the US. It lasts for like a month, so it's like a moving festival. So you go
So
from city to city, but
like
it's
Warp Tour.
massive. Yeah, pretty much, but a more
Mhm.
metal version of Warp Tour, I would say. There was Anthrax,
Mhm.
As I Lay Dying, The Devil Wears Prada, Asking Alexandria also. A
Mhm.
lot of bands. There's like 3 or 4 stages. And yeah, it's a very good one. I don't think it exists anymore, but I think I've heard rumors that it might come back anytime soon.
What
So
was the name of that
hopefully,
festival?
it's called the Mayhem Festival.
It actually sounds quite familiar. I think I've
It
seen
was it was
the.
pretty big and happening every summer in the States for like a month or two. It's pretty nice.
That sounds pretty crazy, especially.
They had like
Mhm.
huge like trucks that turned into stages every day. So it's pretty intense. Yeah. I remember I think it was a Jagermeister, like huge ass truck that turning into a stage. It was really sick. There
Yeah.
was like maybe like 5 or 6 drum kit
Mhm.
like on the stage because you couldn't touch everything because like bigger bands were playing after you. It was pretty intense.
Oh yeah, I can imagine. So it was like different cities each day, or yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Every day, yeah, you had to move. Yeah.
Okay, so that's
So it's
probably
a
so.
moving festival.
Was it like the most intense touring experience that you had?
Honestly, it was one of the most amazing, but also one of the toughest, I would say, because every morning we had to wake up at like 7 a.m. something, and we had to build our own stage. So we had to fucking carry like heavy ass gear, like heavy metal pieces, and bring everything together to create our stage.
Mhm.
I think it was a stage owned by a Sumerian. So we had to do this every day, and after we played, we had to repack everything every single day. I
Ouch.
remember, like, yeah, I remember every time we hear the intro of Motorhead, which is like a big alarm thingy, it was time for us to like go back to pack everything. So that was pretty tough because the shows were ending at like maybe midnight every day, and then you had like some after parties going on there. So you go to bed at like 2 or 3 a.m. and then at 7 you have to wake up to start the day again. But it was also amazing memories because I think it's every Saturday or every Friday, one of the headliners had to throw a party. And so like one day it was like Motorhead party and they had like fountains of Jack Daniels going on. It was really crazy. And Slipknot did one too. It was really nice.
What was the craziest memory from those after parties?
Oof.
The craziest stuff that was going on, like I don't know, Corey Taylor sleeping in a Jack Daniels fountain, like.
Yeah, that probably happened. I didn't see that, but yeah, the Jack Daniel fountain was pretty amazing.
Yeah,
Uh,
I can even imagine Jack Daniels
yeah.
fountain. Imagine Levy with the Jack D fountain. Oh yes, Levy would definitely
Oh,
love that because that's his
oh yeah,
signature.
yeah. That's his move. Yeah. But I remember it was crazy to see him every day. Like the guy was pretty old and pretty drunk. He could like barely walk. He had like bodyguards like helping him and shit. And every time he was like being pushed on stage, and then he was rocking like crazy and didn't need any help. Obviously, it was amazing.
Yeah, I can imagine. So, are there any places right now that you really want to play but you still haven't?
I would love to go to South America. That would be amazing. We've been asked a lot to play like Brazil and stuff, and we never got the chance to go there. So I think that would be super sick. Yeah, I've heard the fans are going crazy over there, and it would be just nice to go visit some places like Chile and Argentina and stuff.
Oh yeah, like we were actually when we were talking with Mark, he was actually saying that like one of the craziest memories he had in Mexico when people were actually chanting the riffs, like
Yeah,
literally
yeah, true.
singing it.
It's true.
I've seen it at Parkway
Mexican fans
Drive.
are crazy. Yeah, I've seen
Yeah,
that on Parkway Drive DVDs and
yeah,
stuff.
that's
It's
really
really sick.
crazy. So actually, like
Yeah.
you've played basically three continents, right? You played in Europe, you played in Asia, and you played in US.
Yep, exactly.
Where do you think are the most crazy fans, like that you remember the most? For which shows?
Honestly, I think I would say maybe Mexico, maybe, because when we played there, we only played there once, where we played like 2 or 3 shows. It was the first time that after the show they had to close the venue, and they put like a big ass grill in front of us, like they locked down everything because the fans were trying to like push and enter, and we had to sign like stuff through the grill. It was fucking crazy. I've never seen that. It was also the first time like some fans were waiting in front of the hotel. Like we didn't give the address to anyone. We didn't even have the address of the hotel, and kids were waiting there all day to see us. So that was really crazy. And it was also the first time that in front of the venue people were selling fake BTM merch.
Really?
And it was designs that we've never seen before. It was like crazy designs.
Yeah, you could
There
just
was
go and
actually
buy. Okay, hey, this is
yeah.
some-
I wanted something. I was like, can I please have it? And he was like, no, you have to pay. And I was like, but this is my band. Can I please have a shirt? And he was like, no. And I didn't have any money. So a fan or someone in the street saw that, and they actually had to buy my own merch for me to keep as a souvenir. It was crazy.
So these guys
I
didn't
have
even
like
recognize you. The ones that were
no,
selling.
no. I think that they don't give a fuck about the shows. Actually, they're just looking at the planning, and they see, oh, okay, this day there's this band, so we're gonna print this shit and sell it. The next day we're gonna do the same. I don't even think they listen to the music.
Yeah, well,
But
probably they
it
don't,
was
but
crazy
they
to
could
see
have at
that.
least recognized that they're actually not selling, like not giving a shirt to the person who is probably printed on the shirt itself.
I know, right? It's crazy. And they had like items that we've never had. Like they had like BTM pillows and stuff like that. It was
Well,
Amazing.
they were basically throwing you ideas what you can make.
Yep, true. And good designs too. There was actually a Jack Daniel BTM shirt, like with the Jack Daniel logo. It was crazy.
Okay, well, that's probably copyrighted if you
Oh
would do
yeah,
that.
probably. Yeah, but you can't say anything. Even if your brand is protected, you can't say much, you know.
Yeah. So I suppose
Mm.
you were getting presents on many shows from fans.
Yeah,
What were the
yeah.
most interesting presents that you got?
We got a lot of stuff. I mean, it's not a present, but it's always kind of special to me when someone is bringing his own guitar and asking me to sign it because it seems crazy to me, and I would have never imagined that someone would want my signature on a instrument that they play every day. So that's always a special moment. But the gifts, we receive a lot of drawings and stuff like that. I try to keep them as much as I can. Right now, they are in the BTM place where we store the gear.
Mhm.
Sometimes we have flags. Sometimes we have like I personally love like candies and like Reese's and stuff like that. So the American fans like to bring me like cookies and stuff they make. It's really nice from them. And maybe the most amazing was probably video games. Sometimes I
Mhm.
ask on Twitter, hey, can you bring us some games because we are bored on tour for 10 hours in a van and
Oh
we
yeah,
don't
I
know what
think
to
I've seen
play. And
such tweets. Yeah.
yeah, and someone brought me, I think it was the Link's Awakening. It was in Belgium or in Netherlands. That was amazing. I received GTA was also one day.
Mhm.
Super cool gift. Yeah.
Yeah, that is I think
Once
you're
someone
Mhm.
asked us to sign the rooftop of their car, like inside the car. Yeah, there was so many signatures, and he asked us to sign this. It was intense, also.
He was like gathering all the signatures on the roof of his car.
Yes, and there was many.
That is interesting.
Yeah.
But do you keep like 80? Did you ever get like such a special present that you would keep it actually like at home instead of the storage of the BTM stuff?
Honestly, I think I might have like a few. I've got a few picks. Like someone brought me some picks,
Mhm.
like guitar picks of like Slipknot, Korn, and Blink 182. Cool gifts that I have with me. Last time I went to Russia, someone gave me like small guitars that I have also here, but nothing like super crazy. That I can't carry. It's small stuff that's remind me of good memories mostly.
I would expect in Russia someone would be bringing bottles of vodka to you.
Yeah. Most of the time when we play Russia, they're bringing us potatoes because the first time we played in Russia, the only word we knew was kartushka, and it means potato. And every time our bass player was saying that on stage and on VK, the social
Mhm.
media over there, and so they brought like big ass bags of potatoes, but I don't know if he kept them or if he eat them. I'm
Yes.
not sure.
So, Mark, did it actually teach you anything more than potato? Well, okay, of course, curse words, obviously.
Obviously, but that's from gaming also.
Yeah, that is true. Because I remember when you played in Latvia, he was actually telling all those curse words backstage.
Yeah,
Like, okay,
yeah.
that was
Okay, all right,
interesting.
dude.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah,
actually,
maybe we shouldn't say
yeah,
that here.
yeah, probably.
I don't want to get you banned.
Well, those words will not get me banned, but everybody in the chat
Okay.
obviously know them. So since we
Okay.
came to started talking about the gig in Latvia, what are your memories of visiting Latvia? You've been here twice in 2013
Yeah.
and in 2000 was it 18 or 19? I think it was 18 when you played the metal
Mm,
show.
yeah, maybe. I think you were there too.
Yes, obviously on the same stage.
Yeah, for those who don't know, Eric did a featuring with us on, I think it was the Resilient,
Yeah,
maybe.
yeah, it was the
Yeah.
Resilient. There's actually still a video on YouTube.
Nice,
from that
nice.
show.
Yeah,
So if you type "Betraying the Martyrs," the resilient Eric from Blood and Memory, you will actually see that video.
yep.
So, what are your memories of Latvia?
Uh, Honestly, well, we didn't have much time to visit, as always, but we
Hmm.
went to I think we went to the city center uh, just for a quick walk, before the gig. It was really
Hmm.
nice. Uh, I will always love playing Latvia because I don't know, I feel like it's pretty modern. Sometimes you have like those very bad cliches about like Eastern Europe or something, but it's not like that at all, and it's like super modern, and there's fucking 5G or crazy connections everywhere, and you're not lost at all when you go there. So
So a lot
yeah.
of people expect to go like to, I don't know, like in the middle of Russia.
Yeah, exactly, but it's not like that at all. It's actually better than France for the Wi-Fi connections.
Yeah, I reckon that it's actually quite good.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you have a favorite band to tour with from all the bands? Like you've toured with probably, I don't know how many dozen bands,
Yeah, quite
considering
a
all the
few.
tours you did. But do you have any specific band that you enjoy? Like I don't know, you probably have you toured. I know like you're big friends with Angel Maker, if I remember
Yeah,
right.
yeah, we toured with them once, I think it was, for Summer Slaughter, big festival in the
Hmm.
US also. Pretty physical festival to play because there's I think 12 bands or 15 bands on the bill. So it starts at like midday and it finishes at like midnight. So it's very long days.
Hmm.
And since most of the time you don't have enough like green rooms to play those shows, so the bands have to stay the whole day. When you're not watching the shows, you go outside, and it's in the states, so like some states are very fucking warm, and you have to
Yeah.
to wait there for 10 hours. It's pretty brutal. But yeah, those guys are really friendly. I used to play Fortnite with them a
Oh
while
yeah,
ago.
I remember that. I don't.
But
I don't think any one of them ever played when me, you, and Nick were playing. I don't think any of them
I'm
ever
not
played.
sure. Maybe I don't know.
At least I don't
But
remember.
I love touring with Born of Osiris. They're very cool guys, funny guys. There's Upon a Burning Body also.
Oh yeah, that's
We
a
we
great
haven't toured
band.
with them in a while, but it's a great band and a funny band to tour with. Yeah.
So what is it like? They're like just friendly, or any like? Why do you specifically like touring with exactly these guys? What is so special about
Well,
touring with them? Like you just click pretty good together.
yeah, we clicked pretty well together, and it's also a bit special for me because it was the first time we toured the US
Hmm.
was because they invited us on a tour, on their tour. It was the Discovery tour, their
Hmm.
headliners for the album The Discovery, and there was like big bands on it. There was like Carnifex and Veil of Maya
Oh
and
yeah.
Structures, like a very solid lineup. So when you go for the first time somewhere with those guys, it's good memories.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
So, like, when usually when the band is on tour, there's in the band there is a guy who's like the mama of the band. Like, I don't leave the mess here. Like, make your bed. Who is the mama of the band? BTM.
Uh, Let me think. It could be me sometimes. But yeah, I don't know. We know it depends. Like when we were younger, we were obviously a bit crazier, but then
No.
we realized that being on the road and touring a lot is not a party all the time, even if people may think like
Yeah, a
this.
lot of people think that.
Uh, yeah, some people think that we magically appear on stage and that it's like that
Mm,
every day, but in between we have to travel for like 10 hours. So it's a grind, and it's physically tiring.
yeah.
So if you start like drinking every single day, your health will decline like very fast, and you can't keep up with the intense rhythm of touring. In 2012, I think we did 250 shows in 1 year.
Oh,
And
that's a
if you
lot.
go to, that's a lot, yeah. And if you go too crazy, you just can't keep up. Like some people have to stop touring because they can't keep up with that rhythm. So yeah, we party less than before, and we take this more seriously. It's a job. Like people are
Yeah.
paying to see like a very good performance every day, and you have to be at your maximum. We try to give as much as we can on stage. So you can't arrive like super drunk and shit. Like even maybe some rock bands are doing
You
it, but
know,
they
Lemmy
won't be
wouldn't
doing it
agree
for
with
long.
that, but that was
Yeah,
Lemmy.
true, true. But yeah, we have to be good, and I think it's. I've heard stories of Gojira, the biggest
Yeah.
French metal band. They are very, very hardworking and serious. And when you work for them, like you can't have like a single beer before the show. Of course, you can do whatever you want after, but the show has to be perfect.
Yeah.
Like
Well, I can back that up. That is pretty important.
same.
So yeah, actually, speaking about being like a lot of time on the road, obviously, often you don't have enough time to get some proper food. So you have
Yeah,
to
that's
eat
true.
junk stuff. What is your favorite food to eat on tour? Because like the stuff that you can easily get
Yep.
and eat.
Well, obviously, of course, the first few times that we went to the US, we tried every single burger places, but after a while, it gets horrible and you get sick of it. And in France, we like our big like meals with like a first meal and then the big plate or whatever. I don't know how
Yeah.
it's called, but like at the restaurant or something. And when you're forced to eat like burgers every day, it's not even enough for you. Like you don't have enough like vitamins and stuff to be able to tour. So yeah, it was fun to try that at the beginning, but nowadays I think the easiest and the most common that you can find is like Subway sandwiches.
Yeah.
It's not too bad because you can put like veggies in there. And some of us are trying to be like vegetarian when we are on tour to avoid eating that bad quality meat. I tried that myself. I've been kind of veggie for like a year and a half now
Mhm.
because I'm sick of the bad quality that the meat is provided in those places. So I try to eat as many vegetables I can. So yeah, Subway is cool. The trendy thing nowadays is like a poke bowl. I don't know if you've heard of that. It's like
No.
some kind of big ass bowl with like a salmon and veggies and stuff. A bit Japanese style, but you can find that pretty much everywhere in the States. And it's
Mhm.
really healthy and refreshing. And you have like mangoes in there and
Oh,
stuff.
no,
It's
I don't
it's pretty
think
good.
I should probably
Yeah,
Google it later because I don't think I've heard about any
yeah.
like
It's
this.
a POKE bowl, BOWL. It's amazing. I try to make that sometimes at home too.
Okay.
Um,
From what I've heard, it actually gives me the ball from Pokemon. I guess that's not it.
maybe you didn't write it
Yeah, well,
correctly,
you will send it to
but
me later.
yeah, for sure, I can do that. But during my last US tour, I went to McDonald's and I ate a burger and I felt like really sick the next day. I got like food poisoning. It was the
Ouch.
first time like I almost puked on stage. Like I didn't, but I puked right after the show, and there was like
Okay.
a big a bowl for me to puke. I couldn't headbang, like I couldn't move because if I moved my head, I was gonna puke. That's for sure. So there was horrible moments. And since that time, I never eat like junk food on tour again. Actually, I've been ordering some stuff online. It's called Yule. I don't know if you know. It's the name of a brand, whatever. They're not sponsoring me or anything, but it's just
Mm-hmm.
like some kind of protein powder, and you can
Mm-hmm.
mix it with water, and it's like so it's super easy to make, and it gives you like all the vitamins and stuff you need. So I think that
Mm-hmm.
for touring, we might see more of that coming. Uh, very soon, because it's easy, and sometimes you have like fruits. You can add like bananas in there. It's really good. So
Well, now you
I
should
like
get
that.
them to endorse you
Yeah, exactly.
because that would be nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so what like you've played dozen of shows, different stages. What were the biggest technical difficulties you encountered during a show?
Oh, that's bad memories.
We need to go through
uh,
bad memories as well.
yeah. I think one of the worst was probably in the US. We were playing like a festival. I can't remember the name. Maybe So What Festival, something like that. But it's in a big baseball stadium, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of bands were there. I think Architects was watching us or something, so we had a tiny bit of pressure. And then, so at the first thing of the show, like they tell us, okay, go set up your stuff. You're gonna play soon. So like it was a big ass stage, you know. And I see like my guitarist, it was Lucas at that time, like very far away on that stage. He was like starting to mess with these pedals and stuff, like getting ready and shit. And like 10 minutes later, the guy was like, what the fuck is this guy doing? You only have half the stage, but nobody told us. So he was like preparing everything, but not at the right side of the stage. So that sucked really bad. So we asked them, holy shit, how much time do we have? And he's like, you guys have 20 minutes. Oh, so we're like, oh, okay, it's fine. We have 20 minutes to set up. It's chill. We're used to that. And then he added, your set has 20 minutes left, so you should be playing right now. So we were like, holy shit, fuck. So we started like playing and stuff. It went pretty well. But then Mark, our drummer at that time, he did like some crazy moves on stage. And I don't know what happens, but he got up, I think, and his in-ears were linked to a laptop. Obviously, of course, it had to happen. The laptop fell on the floor.
Ow.
And the jack from his in-ears got broken inside the laptop. So we couldn't use the tracks and the clicks anymore. So we had to finish the set rock and roll, you know, without using any fucking tracks or any subs or anything.
You didn't have the front line of monitors at that show, only in-ears, or you had
yeah,
something.
I think so. I can't really remember. I think probably we had like some wedges, but still, it's complicated sometimes.
That is pretty crazy.
It was horrible. Yeah, that's a bad memory for sure. But we somehow we managed to finish the set and play it. But yeah.
Do you remember how
Never
many
again.
people were at that show?
A few thousands, I would say. So yeah, a lot.
Yeah.
Another maybe tough day. It's not a bad memory, but it was a tough day. It was also in the US, and we had to play 2 shows in a row. So pretty much, but the thing is, the shows were not in the same city, obviously. So, playing one show in preparing all the gear, sound checking, and then doing the show, and then packing everything back to do the same thing over again, like 2 hours later or 5 hours later, because we had like some roads to do, to drive. That was super intense. It was really tiring. And I remember it was like at a special event, because it was South by So What or whatever it's called. It's a big festival in
I remember
in Texas.
that name.
Yeah, and it's massive because it's every styles of music, every genre are playing. And so basically the whole city is blocked. All the streets are blocked. You can't go in, and everybody's walking. And you have like, I remember seeing, I think it was Of Mice and Men were playing in a bar on that street. The same street in a big ass park, there was Snoop Dogg and Katy Perry playing.
Okay.
And of course the roads were blocked. So we were like already super tired because we played another show like 5 hours away, and we had to carry our guitar heads on everything, like the drum kit, everything with our bare hands through the city to fucking play the other shows, because we couldn't access any streets with the van. So that was intense, but we managed to play. Yeah.
Okay,
that was crazy.
I guess now we're probably coming to the most bad memory you have. The US accident of last year. First headline tour.
Yeah. It was terrible. So for those who don't know, we were on our first ever headline tour in the US, and halfway through the tour, we were playing in Los Angeles, and everything was fine, but the guys at the venue were like, okay, it's time to go now. You guys are done playing. You can't stay there very long, because I don't know, there was probably some after shows going on. So anyway, we packed the gear, started the drive. We had like a maybe 6 hours drive to the north of California, and everyone was asleep in the van. And at like maybe 3 a.m., we hear our driver starting like freaking out and screaming, there's a fire, it's gonna fucking blow up. So everybody out, everybody out. So we were like fucking half naked. We just get out to the first station that we found.
Mhm.
And he was looking in the mirror, and he saw that the trailer, so the thing that you attach to the van that's
Mhm.
carrying all the gear, was like there was like big smoke coming out. And when we arrived, obviously, we started to open to see like what was this smoke, and we saw like the flames like starting to burn everything. So yeah, very very bad memory. We lost a lot of gear. We had obviously all the merch that we printed for the tour. It was a full month tour. Was burned,
Mhm.
so it was our only way to make money,
Yeah.
and it was going into flames. Of course, we were supposed to fly back from New York, but we were in California, so we had to rebuy plane tickets. It was a disaster, like mentally, physically, and economically. It was a nightmare. Yeah, I wouldn't wish it to my worst enemies,
Yeah,
because
that's crazy. But do you had
most.
any idea like what caused the fire later? Like there was any, I don't know, diagnostics or anything?
I think it was. Because in the US, as I was saying,
Hmm.
it's super warm during the summer, and since I also said you don't necessarily have green rooms to chill
Hmm.
all day long, so most of the time you chill in your van, and to chill in your van you need like AC and stuff, and to make that work, in order to save some gas money and stuff, you have like electrical generator, a power supplier. I don't
Hmm.
know
Yeah.
the the correct way to say that, but I think that's the thing that burned everything, because we had this big thing. It's a black thing, and it was I think staying under the sun because it has to be outside. It's like linked to the venue,
Hmm.
but if you leave it, obviously it warms up. But the fact that I think at the venue in LA they told us, okay, you have to go now. We packed everything, and I think the fact that we packed maybe too quickly, this thing was caught on fire somehow. Of course, it was unplugged and everything, but it's super bad. And
Malfunction or something?
yeah, yeah. Honestly, we were not sure, but yeah, it was probably against like a keyboard, maybe soft cases or something that
Hmm.
caught on fire, and that fucking destroyed everything. The only things that we managed to save were destroyed by the firemen, that because they put
Hmm.
like a big water
Yeah.
thing, and inside this water there's like special chemical products to stop the fire. So if your thing is not destroyed by the fire, it's destroyed by the water. So it's horrible. It's a nightmare. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, did Sumerian anyway, like I don't know, financially supported you after this incident, or it's like not part of the contract? They're not supposed to.
Nope, they didn't.
Okay.
Nope. And we were in LA, or I mean, 2 hours away from LA. They could have maybe invited us to stay with them or somehow, but nope, that didn't happen. So maybe next time.
Okay. Well, hopefully there will not be next time.
I hope so
Yes,
too.
we don't need next time. Like
No,
fingers
no,
crossed,
please
please
no.
no.
Yep, 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 yeah, yeah.
Okay, let's get back to the more happier questions. So
Okay, nice.
usually any musician has like you have quite a lot of albums already released. Do
Yep.
you have the favorite song to play and the least favorite song to play live?
Live.
Yes, exactly, live.
Live. I like to play Unregistered from the Resilience, because it's a very like
Mhm.
a punchy song, like a pretty violent one. So people go pretty crazy when we play this one. So it's always a pretty cool feeling. But I like most of our songs. I like playing the later stuff, maybe like Parasite or Eternal Machine. When we play that and people are singing, it's a cool feeling. But a song I would hate to play, there's not that many. Maybe maybe the most technical ones. We used to play from our first album. We had a song called "Tapestry of Me."
Oh yes, I know that one.
Uh, or Jigsaw from the second one. Those ones are like pretty technical songs. And of course, when we were in the studio, we were like, "Oh, it's gonna be amazing live and stuff." But sometimes you experiment a little bit and you try those songs and they don't work as planned or as expected. So we just
Mhm.
get like less crowd reaction, and even for us, it's a bit more complicated because we have to focus more on what we are playing because it's technical, and so we move less on stage. So it's I don't know. It's like maybe it's really good on CD, but it's less interactive live, and maybe that's why I don't like I like them less, I would say.
Okay, but like, have you ever thought about, I don't know, playing earlier stuff? Like, for example, like August Burns Red, they just did like how many, what, 10 years of Constellation tour? Have you ever
Yeah,
thought
yeah.
with doing the same with your stuff? Like, I don't know, because I know a lot of
Well,
fans were actually asking, like, why are you not playing, I don't know, like Man Made Disaster so often, or Because of You, for example?
yeah, true, true. Actually, it would be a really cool idea, and we are already thinking about that. If we can play shows again next year,
Hopefully.
it's gonna be the 10th
Oh, yeah, Brett.
anniversary of Breathing Life. Yeah,
Actually, yes.
so
So
so that would
speaking
be cool to
about
play
it,
some. That would be cool to play some older songs. Yeah, definitely. But why not? But we'll see because we had some lineup changes as well, so we would have to obviously relearn the song to the new members and stuff because they've never actually played them. But that's something possible, and that's something I would enjoy personally. So we'll see if we are allowed to play shows. Why not?
I actually wonder, have you ever played Azali live?
Only a few times, yeah.
Because
But
I
we
know
did, we did.
that's pretty chill song. So I was always wondering, have you ever played it live, like
Yeah,
ever? Because there are
yeah.
obvious some songs that, like, the band records it, it's good for the CD, but they never play it live, like, ever.
Yeah, actually, yeah, we played. I think we played an anniversary show of Breath in Life, maybe a few years after it came out. I guess it was in
Mhm.
Paris, and we decided to play the whole album. I think it was. So we played Azali, and we even added some parts or some stuff that wasn't on the CD. We
Mhm.
rearranged the
Oh yeah.
song for it to be cool live. Maybe we played it in Russia, but maybe like 4 or 5 times. We don't play it that often, but it's always fun. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, what
Mm.
do you think is the craziest thing that ever happened to you on tour? Like, for you, the most craziest thing in a good way. We're not gonna go back to the bad memories, but in a good way. The best
In a
memory of the
good.
whole, like, life in Betraying the Martyrs. The most
Uh,
fun, the most crazy that ever happened. Like, easily, crazy after party, crazy show, crazy gift. I don't know.
I think well, I said it already, but Hellfest was
So
a
exactly,
consecration
Hellfest.
for us. Yeah, yeah. When you're offered to play the main stage at the biggest festival in your country, it's always a special moment. And so we decided to shoot a music video, and everything went pretty well.
Mhm.
So we it was a very good memory for me. Uh, I would say another crazy, maybe when we opened for Asking Alexandria in England, in Brixton Academy in
Oh,
London.
of course.
That was fucking amazing because it was a sold out show, so 6,000 people. We go on stage, and we've never heard like fans screaming that loud. Like we almost like fucked up the intro because we couldn't hear anything. Like we were not prepared for that. Like people went mental, and we were like the opening act, and there was other bands
Mhm.
in between us and Asking Alexandria, so we didn't know what to expect, and the fact that this reaction was so crazy and that we couldn't hear anything was a very sick moment for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, playing Brixton Academy, that's a freaking highlight for sure.
Yeah, yeah, beautiful venue, by the way.
What about Japan? What is like the most memorable thing you remember from that tour?
Oh, Japan. I mean, we did a full Asian tour, and I've never been to
Mm.
Asia, so it was mind blowing. It was super tiring because we had to we went to bed at 3 a.m., woke up at like 5 or 6 every day because we had to take a plane in between each shows. But wonderful experience. I really love Japan. China was amazing. We played the equivalent of Hellfest, like a big festival. I think it's called a MIDI festival in China. Was amazing. But Japan, yeah, fans are pretty fucking crazy too. Tokyo was a really sick show. Yeah.
I actually have a fan in the community that is, I think she went to 3 or 4 of your Asian shows. She was
Oh
actually
yeah.
following you around.
Yeah. That's amazing. When people can afford that, it's
Yeah,
always good
that's
times. Yeah, for sure.
crazy.
Have you ever been there, like
Nope,
to Japan and stuff?
I
No.
never been to Asia. I would love to go there.
Yeah. Which country? Yeah, Japan
Probably
or
probably Japan.
yeah.
Even though, like, I
It's
would love
really
to visit all of them, but Japan is probably, like, that's the country you usually hear the most stories about. And plus,
yeah.
I have a few
Well,
friends
the food
actually.
is amazing. The culture is sick. It's really modern, and at the same time, you have like those old school backgrounds. Also, yeah, it's very special culture. But it's if you guys have the chance to go there one day, you should definitely go. Mm.
For sure. So, what do you think is the hardest thing about being a touring musician?
Uh, well, maybe being far away from the people that you love the most. It's really hard because sometimes you have a time difference, and so if you're trying to call your girlfriend, and she's asleep because you're awake, and then it's the contrary, and then she's at work, so it never works. So that's very tough. Like especially if you have long tours. The biggest we've done was maybe 2 or 3 months in a row without going home. The in Europe, the longest we've done was 31 shows in a row. You don't have your Sunday chill day. I'm
Yeah,
gonna sleep. Like you play every single night, and it can be pretty rough sometimes. But obviously, it's easier in Europe than when you're in a different continent to reach your friends and loved ones and family. Um, but yeah, I wish I hope it's not never gonna happen to me. But losing someone when you're far away must be like such a terrible experience when you're on
yeah.
tour, and you can't go to your friends' funerals or something. It must be destroying you, you know. But yeah,
So it's more
other
like
than that.
mentally and physically
Yeah,
effective.
physically. Well, we said that eating on tour can be pretty rough sometimes. Uh, I would say maybe the conditions when sometimes, of course, sometimes you have hotel rooms and stuff, but when you start, you don't have that. You're stuck in a van with 10 other people. So I hope
Mhm.
you belong together really well because sometimes it can be messy. So you have to, yeah, when you like choose a member for your band or something, you have to make sure you get along really well because you're going to spend a lot of time and years with those persons. So it's very important. But we're all good friends, so that's fine. But yeah, kind of physical conditions like something really basic, that you
Mhm.
can have every day at home, like taking a shower and stuff. Sometimes it becomes a problem because those venues, especially in the US, they don't have showers, they don't have like
Yeah.
kitchen for you to cook something. So in Europe, we are pretty lucky because those venues have that kind of conditions and offering. So it's really nice. Like sometimes you have like a chef cooking for you and stuff. But in the US, it's like, hey, $5, there you go. You buy burgers all day, and that's all you do.
Oh yeah,
And
the
when you
buyout thingy.
the buyout, exactly. And when you see that a double cheeseburger is $1 and a banana is $2, with $5, you can't have much. So of course you go the junk food way when you don't have the means and the financial support to do something else, and it can be tough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I
We,
like.
we've
Mhm.
slept on the floor like many times. I remember once Lucas had to sleep on IKEA furniture that wasn't built, so so you had like screws and shit going on. It was just like a wooden like plates and stuff. So now we're lucky enough to have like hotel rooms, but Back in the days, believe me, we've been through the hard way.
Like traveling in a small van.
Yeah, yeah. Our first European tour, we had a van, but we had no trailer. We couldn't afford a trailer, so we were sleeping against our guitars like every day. It was fucking intense, and we were asking fans like, "Hey, can we crash at your place tonight because we have nowhere else to go and we don't have enough money to go to the hotel." And I remember like uh, at metal shows, like people are usually pretty nice, so we always end up in cool places, and people are welcoming mostly everywhere. It's not only in the U.S., but in the U.S. there may be more. They might be more used to that, so they're like offering you like, "Hey guys, do you need anything? I've got this, I've got that." So that's really cool. But we've done that in other places as well. Yeah.
Yeah, that actually reminds me of the story. Like, I think you also played the same venue in Estonia. So actually,
Yeah.
when we played there, when we were doing our Baltic Polish tour, we like literally I got a cold. We had nowhere place to go, so the promoter offered us to stay. Like we slept backstage, and basically,
Yeah.
like me and the promoter were sitting in the bar till 4 a.m. just drinking tea and talking.
That's all you have to do. Yeah.
And they're like
That's
exactly tea, not booze, tea, because I was
okay.
feeling
Okay.
sick and we had to go to another city the next day. But that was the
Tea and
like
honey.
yeah, that was an
Yeah.
awesome memory. Okay, so
Yeah. It works. It
what
works.
advice
I
would you
remember.
do? Oh, okay, yeah, go on.
Okay.
You remember
I
what?
remember one of the first European tour that we did. We were so someone really nice offered us a flat to stay in, but unfortunately it was an empty flat, like with nothing, like I mean really nothing in there. So no couch, no seats, like nothing. So we were staying on the floor, just chilling there. And at some point, we were making some tea. So we had like a tea boiler kind of thing. And at some point, Aaron opened his suitcase, and the freshly boiled tea thingy just fell on the floor. And of course, my feet was staying there. So I instantly like took my socks off, and all the skin of my foot was going away with it. It was
Oh,
horrible, horrible, super painful. And we were somewhere in Eastern Europe. We didn't have any connections, like any doctors and stuff. So I had to wait 3 days to see a doctor in Italy. And I arrived there at like midday, and the guy is like, "Oh yeah, your foot looks really bad. It looks super painful, but it's midday, so it's my lunch break. Goodbye." And the guy left, and I was like suffering so much. It was horrible. And I remember I couldn't even put shoes on at that time, so I was playing wearing flip flops like August Burnsred or Parkway Drive are doing, but it wasn't for a fun reason. Yeah, that sucks.
so how like did you actually get to see the doctor that day, or he's like he went on the lunch break and you did it and he never came back?
Unfortunately, his lunch break took 2 hours, and we had some driving to do, so
Okay.
we just kept driving.
So
Yeah.
did you even get to see the doctor, like someone to see your actual foot? Did you ever get someone
Nope.
to see that?
No, I just went to the pharmacy, and some girl told to put me some bandages or whatever, and it healed by itself. But
Oh,
honestly, it looks pretty bad, and I was so scared to lose my foot, like someone would fucking cut it off because it looked terrible. So, yeah.
yeah, I'm not even
Thank you,
gonna
Aaron.
ask if you kept any pictures of that foot.
I might have one, but
Oh,
you don't want to see it. You're
definitely.
gonna get, you would get banned also.
Yes, this is not an appropriate platform for that.
Yeah, no, 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 no.
Okay, so we are slowly getting closer to the chat questions. So the last question
Nice.
I would have, what like do you have any advices to the upcoming bands that want to experience touring? Like what should they expect? What should they avoid when they're just starting out? So example like imagine a band no touring experience, they're just actually getting started. Like what would you advise them regarding touring?
Honest, Honestly, I think like a lot of American bands do, I think it's a pretty smart idea to invest in a way of transport, like buying your own van or buying your own trailer to put your gear in can be a pretty smart idea because we realized that ourselves like years later, like holy shit, we rented so much vehicles and it costed us like thousands of euros, and maybe we could have saved some by buying a cheaper van. But of course, don't buy something super cheap because it has to be like very strong to do like thousands of kilometers and
Like
stuff. If you're
reliable.
yeah, reliable, yeah, it's very important because you can't neglect that, you know. When we were younger, we also made the mistakes to drive ourselves. When I was playing with my first band, Black Curtains, once we played a show in Lyon, so 5 hours away from Paris. And obviously, we drove ourselves, played the shows, like got super into it, gave a lot of energy on stage. And because we didn't have a place to stay, we decided to go back directly after the show to Paris. It wasn't really a smart move, and our drummer at that time, who was a bit tired, fell asleep while he was driving. So we had a small accident, but it could have been way worse, you know.
Yeah.
And so obviously we fucked his mom's car, I believe it was, but nobody was injured. But from that time, we decided to pay someone and hire someone dedicated to driving. You know, someone very reliable, someone not drinking, someone you can trust, because obviously is managing all your lives, and it's a very important job, even if sometimes people make fun. Oh, you are only the driver. Whatever, don't listen to them because it's a very important role, and without this guy, you could all be dead, you know. So respect him and pay him what he deserves, and maybe take someone if you feel like you're too tired. Just don't take the wheel. That's a good advice I can recommend.
Yeah, so basically, like if not for the guy that actually woke you up during that stuff in the US, like hell knows what could have
uh
happened.
Other this guy legitly saved our lives, yeah, you know.
Yeah, so
Yeah, for sure. We are very thankful, and we're still in touch with him, and he's a very nice guy, and we love him for that. Yeah, for sure. Mm.
yeah. Okay, so let's move on to the actual people questions. So, guys, if you have any questions, feel free to ask them
Yep.
in Discord. Okay, so first question is, what do you think of the state of the metal scene in France nowadays? We have large festivals like Hellfest, but it seems that bands don't come very often, and when they come, they're only here for a single or two shows, when they often tour for 10 days in the UK or Germany, for example.
I totally agree with that statement. I've always had a pretty solid image speaking about that. When Asking Alexandria are playing in London, in England, they would bring 6,000 people. The very same tour with the very same bands would bring maybe 300 to 500 people in Paris, and that tells a lot about the French scene, I think. Um, I'm not sure why, and I'm not sure, yeah, why it's like that. But I think maybe France has a less rock and metal culture compared to Germany, that are really into that, and in England also, where you have a lot of fucking amazing bands, and where the rock is going on TV and on the radio. In France, we don't have that much nowadays. More about rap music and electronic music and that kind of stuff, trap music. So it's always been a bit more underground, I think, in France. But we're lucky enough to have Hellfest, as you said. It's one of the biggest in Europe, and the local scene is getting better. I feel like there's quite some cool bands, but nothing compared to Germany or England. Yeah, I would say. Like if you're a young French band, I would advise to try to go to Germany and places like that. It's not that far, and the scene there is pretty amazing. So why not, you know? Mm.
Yep. Any
But
band?
I also
Mhm.
feel like it's a shame that those tours are only going to Paris or Lyon, and that's it, because there's a lot of different cities, and even when we toured with I think August Burns Red, we played Bordeaux and cities where there's not always metal tours there, and it went really well. So I wish more bands were playing there.
Yeah, well, it's more. I think it's more of a promoter thingy, because
Yeah,
like a lot of promoters are just afraid to bring a bigger band to a smaller city because, like, oh my god, we're
of
not
course,
gonna
of course.
cover
Yeah,
like the
it's a
payments and
financial
stuff.
risk. You have to be willing to take a financial risk. Yeah, yeah.
I don't know, like, for example, I don't know, like if it's more, like it can be a
But you
bigger
know,
city amongst smaller cities. So basically, metal
yeah,
fans from smaller cities will go to this city to actually see the
exactly.
band, because like Paris might be pretty far away, like it might be the
Yep.
other side of the country.
But you know, even Hellfest, which is now known as one of the biggest and most amazing festival, back in the day, it was not the same at all. It was really smaller. I think it was called even a Fury Fest at the beginning, and the guys had to like got into debts. Like they borrowed a lot of money to make this festival happen, and it took them like maybe 10 years to become sustainable. And it's a grind. It's a lot of work, and they didn't became so huge in one day. You know,
Yeah.
it's a lot of commitments, but they started from nowhere with nothing in a small village, like near a not so big city, and now it's fucking massive. So yeah.
Is there any band that you've never toured with that you would like to meet and tour with that
Mm,
actually is still playing right now?
I would love to tour with Gojira because they're one of my favorite band. But I met them once at a Grass Pop Festival, but that's it. We never played other shows together, so that would be a dream come true for sure. But other than that, I don't know.
US,
Maybe,
international?
yeah, Alpha Wolf or that kind of stuff. Dealer, the super heavy bands that would be super fun to watch every night, I would feel. Yeah, I don't know. Spirit Box that I've been listening to a lot lately. That would be sick.
Oh, yeah, they're growing
Uh,
pretty big lately, as far as I've
yeah,
seen.
yeah, it's becoming massive. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that would be fun.
Okay, there is one question I actually know the answer for. Did you receive any help after the fire tragedy from fans, or you had to reacquire everything by yourselves?
Oh, dude, we received so much help from so many people. It was crazy. It was so amazing. Like we did some kind of fundraising because obviously we could not afford to repay for those plane tickets and all the gears that we got for like 10 years, you know, and the fact that so many people helped, some other bands helped, even the guys from Trivium helped and shared the news on their social media and stuff. It was really amazing and warming, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
So
like,
obviously, without those people helping us, we would have been forced to stop. I think playing music. So it's thanks to those people that we're still here today, for sure.
yeah. So this is
Yeah,
one thing that I actually love about the music community, like that it actually can unite
yeah,
all the
yeah.
people together. That is pretty amazing.
Yeah, so especially in metal, I feel like the sense of community is pretty strong, and
Yeah,
people are helping each other, and it's really appreciated, yeah, for
yeah,
sure.
that's
Mm,
amazing. So another
mm.
one from By the Sword. I love your album covers. How did you come up with them?
The covers,
Yeah, the
the
album
artwork,
covers. Yes, exactly, the artwork.
yeah. It depends. I think every time we work with someone different, so it depends which one you're talking about, but yeah, I think for our EP, if you want a secret, but maybe some people guessed, but it was our bass player Valentine, which is featured on the artwork. We just took a picture of him and edited it. Uh, for Phantom, I think it was probably a Sumerian who worked on it. And for Rapture, we had this idea in head, but we didn't do it ourselves. We asked someone to take a picture, and then maybe Valentine edited it, I think. But yeah, it depends. If we see like a cool designer or a photo that we like, we try to reach to those people and see what's possible or not. there's no like rules or it has to be this guy. You know, we're pretty open-minded and yeah, work with a bunch of people.
Actually, no. Valentine, he's a designer himself, right?
Yeah. He does a bunch of designs. Right now, he's working for a metal magazine in France. It's called Metal Ups. So he's doing like the art direction, if it's called like that in English. But yeah. He's good. He's done some merch for us. Sometimes he does some graphics when he's on tour. So it's a pretty cool way. Like if you're a graphic designer, you can also be a musician and work on tour. It's pretty smart.
Yeah, basically
So,
in the free time when you're like
yeah,
chilling in the
yeah,
lounge and the
exactly,
nightliner.
exactly.
Yeah, that is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, another question. Do you still buy CDs or vinyl?
Honestly, not that much lately. Uh, I'm trying to remember the last one I got, but it was probably the Bring Me the Horizon last CD. I think I ordered it. I mean, I bought it. But most of the time, I listen to music on Spotify and YouTube. That's where I find my most recent music. And if I really like something, I would buy maybe a physical copy or a vinyl, but just for the item because it's a nice item and it's cool to have. But I don't even have like a vinyl player, so most of the time I just use my PC and stream there. Yeah,
So
I
basically
think
like
that's
collection item.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, right now I mostly buy like T-shirts and stuff because it's a cool souvenir. It's a cool thing that you still can't download. You know, one day maybe you'll be able to download T-shirts and print them yourself. But for now, it's the only item that I can't have at home and that I like to wear to support bands and stuff.
Yeah. Actually, how do you handle like clothes on tour? Because like obviously you have to wash them. And when you're
Yep.
going on 30, like even though not even 30, if you're going on 2, 3 months, basically,
Yep.
like do you, I don't know, like buy clothes during the tour somewhere, or you just grab a huge
That's
pack of
a
clothes
good
from
question.
home? How do you
Yeah.
handle
So
that?
that's a good question. At first, we were packing like big ass suitcases with like 30 underwear and 30 t-shirts if they're 30 days. Nowadays, we're a tiny bit smarter than that, and we try to take less and actually wash everything like maybe once a week, and then so we can carry like less clothes and just wash them when we need. So obviously, sometimes it's tough, but there's always like a washing machine kind of place where you can go. At some point, we used to do laundry ourselves. You know, you can buy like hand product and then you can
Hmm.
just let it dry on the parking lot because it's so warm in the States. But I think the most annoying and the most difficult suitcase to pack is when you go somewhere where it's going to be cold and warm. You know, you have to take like a big jacket which is taking a lot of space, so you have to try to think smart about that kind of stuff and maybe bring something that you just wear more stuff if it's too cold or something like that. But yeah, it's a good question, yeah, for sure.
Okay. What was the craziest souvenir that you actually brought from a tour that you bought yourself?
Oh, I don't know. I'm Unfortunately, I'm not all the cool things I'm bringing with me are mostly in my head because when you are on tour, we already have a lot of gear to carry, especially when you
Mhm.
are taking the planes, and when you're a musician flying, I can tell you that it's really difficult to fit everything because every single suitcases or every single bag has to be a certain weight,
Yeah.
and you can't go over. Otherwise, every kilo which is over, you have to pay something crazy like 50 to 100 euros. So most of the
Wow.
time, even when we try to weight everything in advance, see exactly how many suitcases we have and how many extra kilos we're gonna have, sometimes we don't have a choice and we're forced to pay like hundreds of euros. And actually, if you're in a band, look up online all the small lines, for the companies that you're gonna work with, because they have different policies for each company, and it's most of the time it's like really small lines, and you have to read it very carefully to know exactly what you're gonna be able to bring. So when you have your gear with you, you have your personal stuff with you. Unfortunately, you don't have much more room for the souvenirs and the gifts and stuff. So unless you bring something small for your girlfriend and stuff, I didn't bring any crazy big thing as a memory. Yeah.
Okay. Magnets on the fridge, something like that.
What?
Have you
Yeah,
ever brought
yeah,
like magnets on the
yeah, yeah.
fridge?
Yeah, I think I wrote that for my grandparents. I found some cute Japanese, like kind of ninja and typical Japanese girl, and they have that on their fridge. Yeah, that's the kind of small stuff that you can bring that's not taking space, but people are enjoying it sometimes.
You actually remember a friend, she was in Japan and she actually brought me, like the kitty that just sits like this. That basically I still have it by this time on my freaking fridge.
Yeah, yeah. It's if it's a small thing, it's fine. But you can't bring like a big ass teddy bear, or something like that. I wish though, but
Yeah.
no.
Well, yeah, like paying 100 euros to bring a teddy bear, not the best idea for
Even
sure.
yeah, or even if you want like an amazing guitar that you saw like in Japan or in the States, like you have to think like how the fuck am I gonna carry this back? You maybe you have to ship it back and it's gonna be super pricey. Sometimes you have
Exactly.
to pay extras for the border, whatever it's called. You have to pay like taxes and stuff
Yeah.
for the things that you bring back. So be mindful of that also. Mm.
Yeah, that can be like taxes and pretty much you like people at the border they can get pretty crazy. Did you actually had
Yeah.
any problems with the border people? They actually like I don't know, they were not
Yeah,
getting letting you through or like having too many
yeah.
questions.
No, many times, honestly. I want to say
Mhm.
almost every time we take the plane, we have to fucking negotiate to avoid those extra thousands of dollars of fee just to bring a guitar because you don't want to put it inside the plane, but you want to carry it with you. And they're like asking
Yeah.
you, okay, but that's an extra plane ticket, but it's $1,000. You can't pay that. It's impossible. So you have to negotiate. Maybe you can put that at the back of the plane if nobody's there. Sometimes they say yes, sometimes they say no. It's pretty random. I remember last time we went to a big festival in Ukraine. We flew
Mhm.
there, and some guy was like asking us to pay an extra fee for like handbags that we had. We had like a backpack, but we also had like a laptop case that we
Mhm.
were bringing with us, carrying it with our hands. And he was like, "Oh, this is too much. You can't have that. So you have to pay extra." And we are like, "Oh fuck, it's expensive." And he was like, "Oh, by the way, I know your band and I'm a huge fan." And he was like making us pay like hundred of euros. Bro, that's not cool. If you know us and you're a fan, you should just let us go. And he was like, "Oh, don't worry. Last week I made Oli Sykes from Bring the Horizon pay the same amount and shit." So he was like almost proud of that as a nice achievement, but
That
that's
sounds
not
so
very cool.
douchey.
Yeah, exactly. It was a bit
Literally.
douchey. And yeah, I don't know how much Bring Me paid, but we obviously don't have the same money. So yeah, it sucks.
So how did you solve the situation? Like you didn't bring the case or you just paid?
We took the wallet out and we fucking paid. Yeah, that was the only way out, unfortunately.
What the motherfucker?
Yeah, exactly.
That actually reminds me a story Levi from Miss May I told me when they were playing in Latvia. They had a festival in Portugal the next
Okay.
day, and they couldn't afford to bring all their racks to
Oh, really?
Portugal. Yeah, because like that
Ooh.
was too expensive. Basically, they were just taking guitars, and they were like he
The
was going
bare
like, oh
minimum.
well, like we are just gonna play old school with the on stage monitors without in-ears. Like it
Uh, do,
happens.
you, Do you know what happened with their racks? Like they had to leave it to someone, I guess. Or...
I think they were transported to their warehouse in Europe because I think they were
Oh
like
wow.
flying
Okay.
back to US on the
Okay.
after the festival.
Damn. Yeah, that can be horrible.
But I was
And
actually surprised, like how chill he was about it. He's like, "Oh well, we're just gonna play like in the good old times when we didn't had any
I mean,
in-ears."
you gotta do what you gotta do. If it's the only way to make it work, of course you do it, and you have no choice. So you do it. You have to play this big
Yeah,
festival, and fans won't care if you don't have the fucking in-ears in your ears. They won't even see. So you have the show must go on. And
yeah.
sometimes you have
Many
to
doesn't
make.
even understand what the hell in-ears are. They're like, "Oh, well, he's wearing headphones." Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Or if you have long hair, you don't see that they're wearing in-ears or using them. But yeah. Yeah, yeah. Sometimes you gotta make sacrifices.
Okay. Another question: how was it to play on Vegas Metal Fest in Portugal?
It was awesome. Yeah, I had a good memory. It was I think it was maybe it was the one of the first time that we played there. I can't remember if it was before the tour that we did there, but it was good, really good. Uh, it's a big open air festivals, and it's I think it's by the sea, or we saw the sea on the way there. Uh, I remember we actually saw a lot of the sky was like super gray because there was like big fires I think at that time, and we could see that. But yeah, yeah, it was a good experience for sure. I would love to play there again if I have the chance to.
Thank you so much for coming in. Hope you enjoyed all the questions we
I
had. We had in
Yeah,
store
for
for you
sure.
today. Thank you everybody for tuning in. If you
Thank you for
guys,
having me,
it was a
and
pleasure.
let's play some games together soon.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, we can even do that. We can even do that today. So yeah, take care, guys. See you later. Bye bye.
See you guys.